watching my lady and her son play Mortal Kombat. It's the worst thing in the world, man.
That's a great intro. That's a great intro. Hello, all. Me and Markeem are back. We're going to talk a bunch of geeky shit. We planned on doing this. People seemed to like the last time we did it, so we thought we'd do it again. Also, we planned on doing this because of Deadpool. I had to watch Deadpool, though, so it took me a while. So, I guess I should say that. It's only been out, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Came out late July.
Yeah. So but anyway,
at the most three.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But we'll go over lots of stuff. We have lots of stuff. But
you want to start with Deadpool?
We'll start with Deadpool. I thought I enjoyed it more than I did the other two, but that's not high praise for me because I didn't really like the other two that much. Just not my kind of comedy is the thing. I'm not. I like a little bit more cerebral comedy than probably most people do. I'm not saying that as like I've always been that way. Like slapstick comedy doesn't always do it for me unless it's done in a way where it just apps like true slapstick, not trying to be just stupid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, like I can watch, like physical, like slapstick comedy. I find that funny, but watching just people being dumb and it's supposed to be funny, I'm not. That's not a me thing.
I thought the funniest parts of the movies when they were just the dialogue, when they were just talking to each other.
Yeah,
not the stuff they set up, not the comedy,
right,
bits that they put together. I didn't really laugh at hardly any of that stuff. I thought the little quips that Wade had and Logan had, those are the funniest parts of the movie. Like the hardest I laughed the whole movie was spoiler talk, by the way, was when we saw Channing Tatum as Gambit, and I'm gonna talk about that. And he was like, they called me the Gambit. And Deadpool goes, are you sure they call you that? Or did you really, really, really want them to call you that for a long time? I was in the theater rolling.
that was the thing that because they kept showing it, but the Leafield feet thing.
Yeah, that was funny too. I'm not gonna lie.
That was if you're a comic book geek, that was absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah, and also the sequence with the Wolverines, like like some of the stuff Deadpool said. God. That was for me and you, Josh. Like that was, he was like, oh, like the
first one. He goes to the first one and gets off the stool, and it's for people who don't know what the short Wolverine was. That's comic accurate Wolverine.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman is actually tall as shit. So it was never. Yeah. It's never been comic book accurate, but they finally gave it to us.
Which is in the first movie they kind of moved around it because they had everyone like standing. They did the Andre the Giant thing, where they would have everyone standing on things, so he looked shorter as everyone. But Wolverine's supposed to be really, really short. Like he's
5'2" or something like that.
Yeah, he's like that's why people always wanted Glenn Danzig to play Wolverine, because Glenn Danzig is like really, really short. Plus he, built like a fucking fire plug. But that trying to think of the other thing, but it was the stuff like that I enjoyed. Like the Henry Cavill one, that was hilarious because they set it up.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Because they set it up where it's like, wait a minute, who the fuck is that? Because you only see him from the back. He's working on the motorcycle. He looks like Super Wolverine in like so many ways, and then just the fourth wall break when he turns around and Deadpool just goes off on, yes, come to us, we'll treat you right.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was good. But I thought the only other thing that my biggest issue was when we got to the, what bad thing did Wolverine get? I felt like eventually you found out, okay, maybe it was worse than it was, but at first it didn't sound like, okay, this is not.
Agreed.
This is not bad. When he got into the part of, okay, then I started killing like everybody, and I was like, all right, well, that sounds very Wolverine. but that also sounds very like Logan, and it would just be Logan going into a dark place and not whatever this was. So
it was an old man Logan, man.
yeah, I
It
know.
was old man Logan, and
But
that was funny too. Old man Logan. That was
yeah,
that
that was
was
the old man Logan was funny. I liked that Patch was in the movie, but I felt a little cheated because I felt like that
yeah, he should have been actually in the movie, if you know what I'm
yeah.
saying. Yeah.
I liked the Hulk, him fighting the Hulk thing.
Yeah,
and
that was
and
cool.
and Wade going, hey, it's John Byrne and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
John, you're your John Burner or something like that. He said,
And then he goes, isn't that what you thought when you fought,
The Hulk.
the Hulk? And then, and he's like, oh,
That was funny.
that was fun. Stuff like that was funny to me. The just regular Deadpool comedy that we've gotten over the last 2 movies, that's just not what I'm
Yeah,
into.
like if you love these movies, like I imagine,
Oh, you would
yeah.
You would love this. There's
I
no
just
question.
I've always saw all 3 in the theater, and I thought they're fun nights at the movies. I've gone back and watched the second one. I've never gone back and I've seen the first one time. But yeah, it's fine, man. Like it's fine. I'll always wonder, why does Deadpool, the movies and the character, get a pass that most other things do not get? Because we call things silly and nonsensical all the time because Cassandra Nova might be one of the worst villains ever brought to life. Can we agree on that, Josh?
It's funny because she was very much how she needed to be.
Yeah, the performance was on point.
But
her plan and what? Nah,
it was not like that part of the like the actual story part of the movie. I didn't like. I thought was definitely them reaching. I get that they were probably reaching and they were trying to, but like I felt that was not good. I felt the payoff to all of the Deadpool showing up. I thought that was
weak, man. Weak.
Especially okay. This is supposed to be, and I get it, but we're all supposed to live in harmony now. Apparently, the Marvel universe is also supposed, for the most part, you couldn't have Gwenpool. Just you couldn't have her. That was the one thing, because I was like, I wonder if they're gonna have her. So I'm like looking, and it's like, oh no, it's all just red and black. It's not.
They might have talked to Sony, and Sony might have said no. It might be possible.
Because to me, that to me could be some funny stuff. She would have been better than Nice Pool. She would have been better than like that. The only thing about that was, and I don't think the joke landed. The joke didn't land in the theater I was in. I got it, but when he did the fourth wall break and just goes the proposal, that whole thing. I thought that was funny because that's like the first thing I remember when he really got big was that movie, which is so weird since that's not, what he's known for. I guess Van Wilder was probably.
Also, Jonathan Majors really fucked up because this movie, like the perfect villain for this movie would have been Kang the Conqueror.
Would have been a Kang.
That is so he really fucked up, man. Because they fumbled it so bad, like introducing him in like Ant-Man and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When really the plot of this movie was the collapse of an entire fucking timeline, and that is Kang the Conqueror. Like that right there, that's literally his whole deal. I was watching this, I was like, Cassandra, you're so out of place. I know why you're here, because the connection to Professor Xavier. By the way, it feels lame that we didn't get McAvoy or Stewart, especially with her being. Feels just like because it would have gave us something tangible to like.
I don't understand why it couldn't have been the whole thing was like whatever Logan did or didn't do should have been revolved around her,
Yeah,
to me should have been revolved so that when she shows up and he like then is like the Logan that, because he's supposed to be the Logan that's supposed to be the worst one, right? So he's the one that's like, oh no, it's her. I'm not gonna deal with this, and you go from there.
And by the way, they said he was the worst one, but why?
Right.
Yeah, because they showed all these Logans, right? And some of the ones that they like teased and all that, they're worse than this guy. Like old man Logan being one of them. Like what?
Right.
What? How is he not the worst? All right, man. That was weird.
But
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, and then like when they got into the actual like Deadpool, like from the like the returning characters from Deadpool, I definitely, because I wasn't big on the other.
Yeah, I checked out on them. Checked out on them.
I'm like, what? But I mean, the other thing that I really thought was kind of cool was at the very end of the movie, they do kind of like this is a goodbye to the 20th Century Fox Marvel stuff.
I thought that was cool.
I thought that was. I was like, oh, this is cool. But yeah, I mean, it was good, but I'm sure when the oldest one sees it, she's gonna think it's the greatest thing ever. But it wasn't. I'm not big on these movies. I was always, even for the character, I like the character more. Markeem knows this. I like the character more when he was just a fast talking Slade Wilson and not just, fourth wall break comedy character. Like, and in the comics, it's so much worse.
Because we had She-Hulk for years. We had She-Hulk for years.
And in the comics, it's so much, because it's beyond even fourth wall breaking. It's just, let's just do every retarded thing we think we can do in a comic because we want to do it. And this gives us a chance to do it, where like with She-Hulk, it was a lot of like stuff that made sense. It was a lot of like her talking to you, but it was in a way that,
can you believe this shit that's going on? It was that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa, this guy.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, she turned to talk to us. What's happening with Bruce? You know what I mean?
Right.
But Deadpool is just, he's the mask. He's the mask. And that's why I never got into him that much, man. I always thought that She-Hulk kind of handled that with more subtlety. I guess not in live action, but in comics, I always feel like she handled it.
No, I think even in the live action, I think they did a better. I think it's not as over the top. I think it's her.
My favorite Deadpool, though, before I forget, my favorite Deadpool will always be Deadpool on a team. Like when he was in X-Force and stuff like that. It's my favorite Deadpool because Uncanny X-Force, I'm going to beat that drum until it's broken, is one of my favorite books ever. And the best thing about it is actually Deadpool, because all this horrible shit is happening. You got Phantom X shooting Apocalypse's clone in the head, who happens to be a little kid. You have Captain Britain pretty much blowing up an entire universe. You have Angel going back to Archangel. All this horrible shit, and then Deadpool has like the funniest thing to say at the right moment. That is his role, and when you make him the star of the show, it's like diminishing returns. I know y'all all had fun with Deadpool and Wolverine. I did. But what do you really remember about it? That's why I always tell people. I love that first movie. Okay, who is the villain in the first movie? Who are some of the characters that weren't his girlfriend in the first? You know what I mean? Nobody remembers because there's nothing really to latch on to. It's just he's fun. And he is fun. But he can be more. That's what always bothers me. That he can be more. He can be more. That's how I feel about Deadpool.
So Sean in the chat said that they apparently tried to get Nick Cage and Ben Affleck. You can't have Ghost Rider in this story. You can't.
Not here, because he breaks it.
He breaks it. Like people that don't understand, like Ghost Rider is a very powerful character. And all he has to do is like look at Cassandra and it's over.
The pendant stare breaks her.
Yes.
It's maybe not like comic book Cassandra Nova, but this one definitely.
Right.
Like this one, yeah. Like it'd be over quick, man.
Yeah. So it's but you could have done Daredevil. Daredevil would, but I did like the line with Elektra where there was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she was kind of like, "Eh." Oh, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, whatever. I did think that was probably a very her moment. You know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If they would have got Affleck, I would have let us move. That would have been cool, man. He deserves. I actually don't hate that Daredevil movie. And he deserved better. I thought he was good. I thought he was good as Matt Murdock.
Yeah,
the movie, but
there's issues with the movie, but yeah, but no, I'm glad they were able to like I was kind of shocked we didn't get like Dolph Lundgren as like the Punisher. I was kind of I mean, they mentioned that, oh yeah, there's a bunch of Punishers, but we didn't get any of them. We just got Blade. But I did like the there's only one Blade. I did like that.
Yeah,
I thought that was
funny. That's especially with what's going on now. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But yeah, like I would say, go if you like just like action movies, I would say go see this, because it was a good.
Oh yeah, all the fight scenes are fun as fuck. Like,
yeah,
I got nothing bad to say about the fight. They're all fun.
Yeah, and you get the whole, you get the continuation of Logan in a lot of ways. Like they did a good. That's the one thing I will say. They did a really good job of like not pretending Logan didn't exist, or being like, okay, there's this albatross that we have to deal with. I think they dealt with that part of it really well.
Yeah.
Right. Like they didn't have to have X-23 in there. They didn't have to like really go into all of this stuff and make it seem like a big, like a big deal. So.
Yeah. And Phil, Blade is just in development hell. Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah, but it's been in development hell for.
Why are they making this so hard? I know that the goal is. I know we're jumping all over the place, but Phil posted this. So I thought about it. The first movie should maybe not a copy of the Snipes movie, but pretty much keep it that simple. I know you want to do the MI13 at some point, or Midnight Suns. I know you want to, but just have, a Blade story where he beats Deacon Frost. Or
you can
find out Deacon Frost works for Dracula. All that. Just keep it.
Or just simple. do the like first, like the original like 70s stories. You could do that. You could definitely do that if you were like, hey, we want to do something a little different. I think that would be fine. But yeah, but the biggest thing with that is, and you know how I feel about this. You do Dracula, like you have to do the right Dracula. You can't do like that's my one issue with like.
Guys, you got to remember they're making a movie. It's Dracula they're gonna do.
I know, but that's not like
they're not gonna do Doctor Strange villain Dracula. It's not gonna happen.
But that's the best. But that would be the best one for what they're doing. That's my point.
Not doing
you do that. You do the one they did in Blade 3, and it's like in Blade 3 where it's like, oh, this is.
They're probably gonna do the modern day one, the one that's the powerhouse. That's what I would imagine. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. I agree. I'm just saying that I think that.
But they're not doing Doctor Strange villain Dracula, because again, that's another character that kind of breaks everything too. So that's what I'm thinking.
That's true. But he's a villain, so I think that's okay. I think that's villains that do that.
It's not happening. He's fantasy booking, y'all. He's fantasy booking. It's not happening. Oh man. And yes, Phil, they teased Blade at the end of Eternals. Yeah.
Of what?
At the end of Eternals. Remember, you had fucking Black Knight talking to about the Ebony Blade. It was Blade talking to him. Yeah. A tease that went nowhere.
Right. Well, the thing is they didn't. If they had explained who the Black Knight was, and you could have done that in the movie. You could have done that since he's supposed to be like a professor. You could have done him explaining like English myth, and him explaining like the actual like.
If Eternals was a series, like I said it should have been, then we would have got that stuff. But they tried to cram all that shit in a 2.5-hour movie. An 8-episode series with all those characters, it would have worked.
The thing is Eternals, like even as a comic, is super dense. Like people that don't know, when when Jack Kirby was finally like, I don't want to say free of Marvel, but when he was finally able to like do what he wanted to do, you go back and you read all of that stuff. So you're talking like late 60s to what, like late 90 or late
late 80s. Like well, I would say early 80s, probably
early 80s.
Yeah.
It's all super dense. It's all super dense, like stuff. Like New Gods is super dense. All of the stuff that introduced Darkseid and all of that. It's super dense.
It reads like a novel.
Yeah, it's super. It's good, but it's super dense. And so, anytime you have like a super dense story, even like like a book or something, it's always, I think, a lot harder to make into like a movie because there's so much usually information that you're having to give, and you have to give that information. And I think they tried in a good way with Eternals, but a lot of it didn't make a lot of sense, right? Like you didn't understand like a lot of it. So, but yeah.
And I still think they didn't sell how important they are, like how like what they are to the history of planet Earth. They didn't really sell it at all.
Right.
Not even. And now we're supposed to care about this Well, I guess we'll get to that about the Celestial. I can't remember which one it was. Still sticking out of the ground for the new Captain America movie, when you didn't really make it seem important in Eternals.
Right. We'll see. But let's see what else did I have on here.
Yeah, but Deadpool Wolverine, good.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely the best of the and it's not just because Hugh Jackman's in it. I mean, that
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm just saying that it's not just like, oh, he came in, like, it's not just that. Like they did.
I mean, he did though. He did.
They did a good job. Like he didn't feel like he was just like inserted in. They did a really good job. I thought the ending was pretty good. I thought the way they dealt with the TVA was good too. There was a lot. Like there's probably a version of this script that I would absolutely
I would love. I mean, same.
There's probably a version of this script that I would absolutely love. But even if you let the Deadpool stuff be the Deadpool stuff, there's probably a verb that I think you just had way too much stuff going on. Let's see. Should we talk about the Spider-Man 4 stuff?
This is my goddamn problem. This is my problem. I wish they would like fuck what the internet says. Just you set it up. You clearly had some sort of plan. You set it up, and now you're going back on that. This movie is supposed to be street level Peter Parker, street level. The Kingpin should be the villain of Spider-Man 4. If not the Kingpin, I don't know. Maybe UT's Osborn, or even if you don't want to,
you could do the Rose,
just something like that.
You could do Rose. You could do Hammerhead. You could do
the whole what's called Silvermane. You could do any of them.
You could do any of them that are like, hey, trying to be like the other king, like the other Kingpin. You could do that, or you could just do the Kingpin, because that's one of the, like, Peter Parker figuring out like the Kingpin and figuring out that that's like somebody that he can't just go beat, is a big thing in the comics. Like that's
everybody wants Spider-Man and Daredevil together. That's how you do it. Everybody wants it already. Right. Spider-Man goes, I am not vicious enough for this man. This man is a totally different beast. He controls my entire life. He is become like a looming black cloud over everything I am. I need fucking help. And he talks to Matt Murdock. He's like, hey man, I know this dude. I know him well. Me and you could get him out of here. We just got to do this together. Right. You're gonna have to be a little harder, you know what I mean, than what you're used to. That it's set up right there, because we haven't seen dark, like the dark version of this Spider-Man. Like we've seen him angry, but we haven't seen him dark yet. You know what I mean?
We haven't seen that version. You haven't seen
that. This would have been perfect.
Like if you don't like really know the comics, there are times in the comics where, because all of the other heroes see, like, not even knowing who Peter is, they just see Spider-Man as this goofball, right? Like, they have respect him, but they see him as a goofball. That's why he's not really an Avenger. That's why he, like, is adjacent to the Fantastic Four, but not really part of the Fantastic Four. Because in a lot of ways, like, Johnny and the Thing like him, but they can't deal with him for like a long periods of time because he's too Peter, like, as Spider-Man.
He's goofy, man.
He's goofy. But there are moments when he stops being goofy, and it freaks the other heroes out because they're like, "What just happened?" Because they have him like on the where they think he is as far as like superpower like level, and then he does these things, and they're like, "Oh, what just happened? What? But maybe he's not what we think he is," which is, one of the continuing arcs through. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, I kind of get where they might be going but I don't think they did a good. Here's the thing: if you want him to be like one of the heroes in whatever like movie universe you want to do, then you needed to have not just him and more of him and Tony, which I don't think we got enough of him and Tony to be able to do that. You needed more of him and Steve too, because you definitely, like, just organically when they were on screen together, it was different. It felt different. It felt like that should have been,
Yeah, we never really got that at all. We never really got him. Like, we seen him learn from Tony. He also learned from Steve a lot too. We never got any of that.
Right. You got the fight in Civil War, which is good and was a great like intro to.
That shit was fantastic.
I know, but great, like because you saw that, he's a kid, but he's different. It would be the way I would put it. But yeah, so I with you. I would like to see him go back to like a street level.
Maybe they don't know the plan in the chat. So apparently they want to do a big multiversal adventure now instead of just Peter Parker being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man like they teased.
Right.
And now they want it to be huge. And you already did that. Did that.
And the thing is, you already have the Spider-Verse. So why do you need to do this again?
Maybe they want to bring it to the live action, but I don't feel like they.
I would imagine that.
I don't feel like they've earned that.
I would imagine part of this is they want to bring in Miles, and this is their way of bringing in.
They want to connect it. You think they want to connect it?
I think they want to have a Miles. I think is the thing, and I
don't think now is not the right time. The reason why, oh my God, let's talk about that. The reason why Miles worked in the Ultimate Comics is that he was dead. He was a character in the comic before, like when Peter died. Right. That's when he took over. He himself was a character. He just wasn't Spider-Man yet. He's not a character in these movies. He has to be a character first. What they want to do? Just pull a Miles from another universe and go, I'm going to teach you.
Probably.
That's so lazy, man. That defeats the entire purpose of why Miles Morales works. Defeats the entire purpose.
I mean, that's the one thing they did. But not the one thing. They did a lot of things. But in the first animated Spider-Man movie, that's how he became Spider-Man, was because the Spider-Man in that universe died, and he basically tried to take over, which is what happened in the Ultimate Comics, where Peter dies and everybody and dies in a glorious fashion, by the way. Like it's like
shit. Hey, no, seriously, read The Death of Spider-Man though. It's man, look, say what you want about Brian Michael Bendis. That might be his finest work, man. It might.
What is that? Ultimate? That's not Ultimatum. That's
the end of the first Ultimate Spider-Man before they rebranded.
Right.
Yeah. So great, man. So great. He's in his neighborhood when all this shit happens too, man. Hey, man, it's so great, man. I need to read that.
But yeah. So what else do we have on here? We got Oh, Born Again. I guess we should talk about that. You want to
go
go?
ahead, Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
So
I'm a little worried. I'll just say that.
you're a little worried. The only thing that I'm like, I thought it looked good. My only thing is, you're bringing back Punisher. I hope they do a good job of explaining why he has to go get Punisher. Like, there has to be a reason. It looks like there's gonna be a reason.
We are kindred spirits, sir.
It looks like that whole thing. It looks like there's gonna be a reason, because it looked like the scene that they show. It looks like he doesn't want to necessarily go get him, and he's like feels like he has to go get him, right? Which is the whole like Matt Murdock Punisher, relationship in the comics, anyways. That's one of the things that I don't think they've ever done a really good job of. Anytime they put the Punisher in anything, is explaining, especially if he's in a bigger universe, explaining that no one likes him. No one likes Frank. Frank is seen as like truly like a vigilante.
They might have. It seems like they were trying to do it with the original Netflix series,
right?
But
like no one actually likes him. Part of it is because he's crazy, and even when he's not crazy, he's still crazy, and will slip into the crazy every once in a while. And that's part of it. But he is seen as like the vigilante. He's seen as the, or at the very least, the necessary evil. That's
none of the heroes fuck with him, but they all know he needs to exist.
Yeah.
Like there's an amazing issue of Greg Rucka's run on the Punisher where they're all hunting him because they think he's responsible for killing this politician. That's what they think. And then Tony Stark finds out the truth. I won't ruin it because it's actually a really good twist. And he goes, "God damn it, we should have left him alone," because he was actually doing. Because there's a moment where you find out he didn't kill the guy, but you find out who the real killer is, and they do a great job because Frank is doing all these unhinged things that makes you think, what's going on with this guy? But really, he's hunting the actual killer. It's just he comes off really villainous. He's tying random people up. When you find out about these random people that they've done horrible shit, you know what I mean? He fought Wolverine, and Wolverine let him go because Wolverine realized what was going on. But he couldn't tell anybody what was going on because he needed him to keep doing this thing. That's the type of shit that the best Punisher stories do. And I'm really worried that I don't think Disney's going to quite do that because they've already made it seem that he's going to be a big part of whatever street level stuff they do. That is how he should be portrayed, because in the Netflix show, they made it seem like this was his origin. This was him becoming, the Punisher. Now that he is the Punisher, like you told his story. You told the story about his friend turning on him. You told the story about, the military guy turning on him. You told his origin. Now he needs to punish. And that's what I'm worried about. Like, will he punish or will he still be the Frank from the Netflix show? It worked for the Netflix show because that was his origin. But now he's the Punisher.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that I don't think they've thought this far in advance, but do you think that is how they get rid of Samuel L. Jackson when it's time for him to finally go?
What you think? You think
I think they do the thing. I think they do the thing. I think they do the thing.
I've been wanting them to do that in the comics. For God knows, man, if they do that, I'm back. I'm back on board. I'm back. I don't think
that's probably but because eventually he's gonna have to go. He's gonna have to go. So you would think that you find out that, he did some shady shit and it relates. You know what I'm talking about.
So awesome.
You know what I'm talking about, and it relates to Frank, because I don't. That's the other. They haven't even talked about that. Maybe they know each other. That was how you would know if they hint that. Oh,
if they're thinking like we're thinking, I don't think they're doing it too.
I don't think.
But that'd be so awesome, man. That'd be so awesome. I'm also concerned because you call this Daredevil Born Again, so damn it, I'm looking at it like Born Again. You have already done this. Season 3 of Daredevil is Born Again. It's basically Born Again. Whatever you do, you better have something. you better have some, because look, that's my favorite season of television, period. Any show. Season 3 of Daredevil. So whatever you do, it better be a reason you're calling this Born Again. Better be
other than just them doing a soft reboot.
Yeah. Because apparently it's not. Apparently it's not a reboot. It's continuation.
Well, then somebody else has to show up, and then you will get. Then it really is Born Again if they.
Oh man.
I mean, apparently Bullseye's in it. So
yeah. I saw. So, and if Born Again this is how we're bringing back those heroes, I'm with that too. Because apparently the rumor is like Kristen Ritter's in it as Jessica Jones. If that's the case, then maybe we get Luke Cage. I know nobody likes Finn Jones, but maybe we get him and Iron Fist together, like they should have did from the beginning, But I don't know. But you call this Born Again, man. You call this Born Again. Yes, Brandon. It is my favorite season of any show ever. It is. The speech at the end that fucking Matt gives the Kingpin, I know word for word, sir. It is my favorite season of any show ever. I love it to death.
But you're a huge Daredevil fan too.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
And that's very much the darker version of Daredevil too. When you get into the whole stuff, all of that stuff. Let's see what
they're calling it Born Again, Jack. Oh, and also, they're using my favorite new Daredevil villain also. Muse, Muse's story, how he he cuts out people's eyes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's his whole thing. I feel like he's just going to be cannon fodder. He looks like they're just going to kill him for some story reason. And that's what they did in the comic. But I want it to really matter.
That's why when I saw that, I was like, Rose would have been a better choice. Yeah, because then it's not just like you could have Matt take down Rose and then Kingpin be like, "Thank you," not realizing who Rose actually was until. But I think that would.
You're being too smart, Josh.
I know.
Yeah, you're right. White Tiger is in it. Somebody put that in the chat. That's weird too. I don't know why he's in it. It's weird. Again, I have my doubts, man. I'm just a little worried. I love all the actors, but we'll see.
We'll see. I'm as soon as I heard that Punisher was going to be in it, I was kind of like, we'll see. That
good. It's good to have him back, but why is he there?
Yeah, why
is he there?
Anyways, so where are we at here? Oh, Kate Crusader. Is anything you want to add that we didn't talk about? Like there's one thing I want to talk about because we forgot to talk about it.
Go ahead.
The Robin episode that no one probably realized was a Robin episode.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, we didn't even bring that up at all. If you don't know the Carnival episode, the kids that were being abducted are all the Robins. Well, not all of them, but it's
Damien's the only one that wasn't in it.
Damien wasn't in it, and if you want to count Duke, too, but that's it. And the only one that wised up to what was going on was Carrie Kelly.
I thought it was so that makes me want, because the thing is, you see her like afterwards, and she's all doing like she's very much being Carrie, but when they walk away, she like grabs his cape and she's like walking away with him. I'm really curious if they do Robin, if they do her instead of. It's
gonna be her.
I think which
it's not gonna be Dick, because like why would it be Dick? And it's not. Right. I don't think it's gonna be Jason either, because why would it be Jason?
Because if you're gonna do Dick, you might as well just do Dick, because it would be weird to have Dick and Barbara be not the same age.
Yeah.
I would have a problem. I get that they don't have to be the same age and it doesn't matter, but it matters. It also matters.
She's a grown woman, man.
Yeah, so
I think it might be Carrie. I think that was them telling us that we're gonna see this little girl again. That's what I think that was.
Because because she saves him. She saves Batman. She's the one that says like you said, wises up. She knows like right away, hey, this isn't right. Like there was that. What else did I want? What did you think about the fact that this has? Why do you think there's supernatural components to this show?
Why do I think they went that direction?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 50s, 60s Batman. That was a part of his character. I didn't really think too much about it other than that.
I just found it because it's very different than what a lot of the other shows.
Yeah, because everybody's trying to make Batman so realistic. That's like the thing
and it was very much like they even kind of like, hey, this is a thing and that sort of thing. Maybe so if they do like Zatanna or something, that it makes Zatanna.
Oh yeah, I know Zatanna. We'll see Zatanna. We'll probably see Deadman.
Right. I figure, and it'll make more sense because it won't be just, hey, she's a stage musician, because she's not a stage.
She's a magician.
Yeah.
I wonder if her dad will be in it too. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they do the whole like
where he helped train Bruce and all that. Like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we go down that whole road where that'll be interesting. Did we talk about that?
I would love to see like him battle like one of like the magical rogues is like one of the big bads at some point in this, so like maybe down the road we're like in season 3 or 4 and he has more allies or something like that. Maybe someone like Brother Blood or Morgana or even Clarion Witch Boy or something. Yeah. One of them. That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of eventually got there in the animated series, but it took a long time for them to get like.
Oh yeah, it wasn't until the new Batman Adventure.
Yeah, it was like
that they actually started showing those roles. Yeah.
And maybe you explain other things like the Lazarus pits better if you're able to go into this.
Maybe that's all what this is for, to explain the Lazarus pit and explain who, maybe. Yeah. Oh, Josh. Oh, Josh. Oh.
Which I mean, he would be at the end of, I would imagine, the end of season 2, right? Because
talking about Ra's al Ghul, y'all, it's my favorite Batman villain. Period. If they do that, it's my favorite show of all time. No, I'm joking, but man, that's my favorite Batman villain. I hope they maybe that seriously though. Maybe that's what this is all for.
To set up that so that it makes a little bit more sense of.
So it won't be so jarring when it happens.
Like what? Why? How is this a thing? But yeah.
Oh man, I didn't even think about him. I didn't even think about him at all.
Because
didn't cross my mind.
Because at some point you figure he's gonna show up, and because that was my first thing when Damian wasn't in the show. Was okay.
Maybe Damian will be born in the show.
Maybe they already all know each other. Maybe they'll take it like from, where he somehow got trained, but like in the movie. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe
because they didn't really. That's a good point because we don't really know how Bruce was trained. Maybe that's coming later.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I know Greg Rucka, one of the writers on the show. He loves the League of Assassins, so I don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. He's probably looking for any excuse to use any excuse. He probably thinking just like he might be like, oh yeah, we're doing all this for that. We're doing because him and Ed Brubaker, who Ed Brubaker is one of the showrunners. Right. They were supposed to do a GCPD show for Fox and then that show ended up becoming Gotham, and neither one of them worked on it. But I have a theory that the way he was able to convince Rucker to come do the show is that, hey man, we'll just do our GCPD show.
I mean, there's a lot of that in it. There's a
whole lot of that.
Gotham, the show that shouldn't have worked.
I still don't like Gotham, man.
I'm just saying the show that shouldn't have worked because it's good. But it shouldn't have.
Is it good, Josh? Is it good?
I mean, it's good for what it is.
Is it good, man?
It's good
or do you just like the fact that they played with a lot of the villains? Or do you actually like the show?
No, because
you think that's fun?
That's I actually don't like the way they played with a lot of the villains. That's the one thing I don't like about the show.
I like the first season when it was just the mob families, and I like that. When they introduced like Venom, like the Bane serum.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm like. But that's what I mean.
Scarecrow and Mr. Freeze, I was out, man.
Like Freeze, I don't know why you would like Scarecrow. I get because Scarecrow you can introduce it that would kind of make sense. But yeah, or like a lot of that stuff. But that's why I said it's the show that shouldn't have. I mean, it shouldn't have worked. It's such a departure of what Batman is, but. And I think
Can they go on for like 5 seasons? I can't knock it, man. I gotta be honest.
I do like if you watch that final episode. I think that final episode is kind of stupid in a lot of ways, because it's just like really because there's no like. Because one of the things I thought they did a good job of was it wasn't being the traditional Batman story, and then that last episode is like, okay, now we're just going to be Batman, and that was. Yeah. That was where you could have done something different and it would have been fine because you've done so much other stuff in the show different that it would have been fine. So, should we talk about the Fantastic Four? Should we talk about the problem that could be that? Because,
go ahead first. I don't know what angle you're attacking this from. Go ahead first.
Okay, so here's my thing with Fantastic Four, and this is going to get really nerdy, but you're just going to have to deal with it. So just like Peter, right? Like, so, and I think I've said this on these videos before. In DC, if you're going to do a DC universe, you have to get Superman right. He's the character. It's not Batman. It's not what. It's no way. You have.
It's not going to work if you don't get Clark right. It's not going to work.
And it's got to be Clark, and it's got to be right. And that's why I think that's what I got.
James Gunn, I'm looking at you, James Gunn. If you fuck this up, I'm out. I've been defending you to this man and so many. If you fuck up this Superman movie, I'm out, brother. He cannot mess this up. Go ahead, Josh, but you're right.
But because he has to be right. Because he's like the center in a lot of ways of the DC universe. And then, you had the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and everyone thought it would, they'll make Cap that. They've tried to do that in the comics, and it was Tony in a lot of ways. But when it really kind of just got really good was when they brought in Peter, because in the comics, Peter, and this is kind of the problem that current Marvel I think has, because I've gotten away from this. Peter is not he doesn't have to be the character that everything revolves around, but he's kind of the center of the Marvel universe. Correct. Even though in many ways in what we consider the Marvel universe, the Fantastic Four were the first, technically Cap and the original Human Torch and Namor.
We're not counting them.
But because it wasn't what we think of the Marvel universe. That started Fantastic Four. So you have to get it right, and they've got 3 shots at this. 3. Most people don't realize it's 3. There's been 3 shots at this. None of them have been right because they try to make it into a superhero movie. You can't make the Fantastic Four into a superhero movie because really they're not superheroes. They're literally throwbacks.
They're a family of explorers.
Yes.
Of scientific explorers. They're Indiana Jones with science. There's a family of Indiana Jones with science.
Because so you have Reed. Everyone knows Reed's super smart. People don't realize that Ben, the Thing, is also supposed to be like an amazing engineer. Like that's part of his thing. Like anything, like the thing is the reason why him and Reed are friends is because anything Reed can think
They
of,
met in college. They met
Ben,
in college.
Ben can kind of like make. That was kind of like the thing. And then, you know, over the years they've made Sue, you know, much more of a character than just like their girlfriend, which is kind of how she was.
That's a good thing, because
Yeah.
in the classic like Fantastic Four comics, she's just dumb blonde.
Yeah.
Reed,
Right.
help me, Reed.
let me get kidnapped by
Dr.
Doom,
Doom.
by Namor, by like, you know, all of that.
Hey,
all of it.
hey, this chick got kidnapped every month.
So, but we're beyond that. And then you have Johnny, and Johnny not only is her sid, but Johnny's also like the Daredevil. Like he's if you're thinking of like a hero, he would be more of like what you think of a hero, like the hot-headed hero.
That's the one thing that those movies of Chris Evans got right, was Johnny Storm. They got that right. They got that perfect.
He's supposed to be like,
just think about that, and that's Johnny Storm.
Right. But you got to get that right. And the other thing you have to get right is that, like Markeems said, they're a family. There's a very much a family dynamic. It's very much, we were talking before we came on, the Incredibles. The reason why Incredibles works is the same reason why the Fantastic Four works. I was in a chat somewhere and somebody was like, "Oh, I always saw Incredibles like the Watchmen," and I was like, Watchmen? What are you talking about?
Why?
It's the Fantastic Four.
How'd you get Watchmen?
I guess because they're deconstructing the heroes. I guess, like,
are they? Though? Kind of. I mean, Syndrome was, but not really.
I mean, I would say it's. I have things on the people focus on Watchmen, on the deconstruction that is Watchmen that Alan Moore did, and then they ignore like Tom Strong and everything that he did like in the early 90s that was all about like reconstructing.
We getting nerdy now. We getting nerdy. Tom Strong. We're gonna talk about Supreme next, Josh. Where we going?
I can talk about Supreme. Like you want what Superman should be? Go read Alan Moore's Supreme. It's goofy in all the right ways and all the way, because Superman should be goofy. Superman is an overpowered, like,
hey, but the villain in that is scary as hell.
Yes.
Scary as hell. Like the whole story takes a turn every time that motherfucker's on the page, man. Takes a turn.
But it's very like so I'm always like about that. But yeah, somebody said that, I was just like, what the fuck? But anyways,
that's weird.
That's weird. But anyways, that's what it should, that's what it should be. It should be like that family dynamic. It should be, the thing, like, and it's not how you think it is. Like very much, the dynamic's a little different, but not like Reed. Even though he's super smart and all this, he's also supposed to be a little bit like the dopey dad in a lot of ways. Like he's trying to do the right thing by everybody, but he always kind of maybe messes it up because he's in his own head. And that's what Sue's there for, because Sue's the one that's like, no, this is the way we do this. It'll be fine. And she like makes everything. And then Ben and Johnny hate each other, like you would think from the outside looking in, but that's not the truth. They're like two brothers. They just
that's his brother. Like you,
right.
I can talk shit about him. You can't. That's how they
right. Yeah, and they talk shit about each other, and from the outside looking in, it's like, man, they're being like harsh to each other, but to them, they're just giving each other shit. So it's like, it's that sort of thing.
Also, don't forget this about Reed. Reed is the dopey dad, but he's also disconnected from reality.
Yes.
That's one thing I worry. They gotta get that right too. He doesn't understand when his family is going through stuff because he's so focused on his thing, on his new invention, his new discovery, all that. They gotta get that right too. But go ahead, Josh. Keep cutting.
To me, that's this. The other thing is Galactus. Them starting right away with Galactus.
What
is like? You need to lead up to Galactus. Galactus needs to be, and you have not hinted in. See, this is the other thing. And since Endgame, they haven't hinted to anything really. Like they've hinted to some stuff, but they haven't really been hinted to what the big thing is going to be.
The big threat, the big looming threat is. Like, okay, real quick. So they announced Doctor Doom. We will come back, but they announced Doctor Doom, and that's the type of character you do that. You have 2 years to do this. Doctor Doom. Like, we're theorizing and all this stuff, but we really shouldn't. We should just, me and Josh should be able to come on here and be like, oh, they're probably going to adapt this, and this. Like Thanos, we were like, okay, so they're going to do Infinity Quest, which they did, Infinity Gauntlet, which they did. Yeah, I mean, and then the aftermath of Infinity, was it Crusade or something? Infinity something.
Yeah, because they didn't do War. They didn't actually do War. Because War, if you've never read any of those, it gets very like into the Marvel lore.
It's I got it wrong. It's Infinity Quest, Infinity Crusade, Infinity Gauntlet. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what they did. That's what we saw. If Avengers Infinity War is basically Infinity Gauntlet. Me and Josh knew it before we saw the movie. Now we have no idea what they're about. We have no clue what they're about to do. And maybe that's a good thing, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Right.
It's weird, man.
Right. It's very like to me, the way is you do the first movie and then you have Silver Surfer show up and be like, okay, I'm here to warn you, because it looks like there's going to be 2 Silver Surfers. That's the other thing. They haven't confirmed that.
Norrin Rad and then the girl, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, and then she's going to be but he shows up and be like, I'm here to warn you, he's coming, right? And that would be the thing, but we're not.
And we can even wait and do this after Doom. Like, you don't have to do this now. I don't know why they want to do this now. All you really need this first movie to do is establish the Fantastic Four. They got so many roles. You pick one.
Right.
Pick one. That's it.
You could do a modern take on Mole Man. You could do
Molecule Man. Yes.
You could do a modern take on. I'm trying to think of the more goofy ones that you could. You could do the
Wizard. You could do the Wizard. Do the Wizard.
What's his name? The guy from the actual Negazone. What's his name?
Oh, Annihilus. Do Annihilus.
You could do that. Reed's being stupid and Annihilus.
And Annihilus got to Earth. You could do that.
You could do that. There's lots of things you could. There's lots of things you could do. There's lots of things you could do. But anyways, I haven't.
Galactus.
I haven't liked the way
the celestial beings that was at the beginning of everything. You're resolving this in one movie. What are we doing? It's Galactus. Look, even people that had no idea about the Fantastic Four, they were theorizing Galactus, all that stuff,
right?
Because Galactus is a name that everybody knows, and there's a reason for that. Why try and do this? The last fucking trilogy, or was it 2 movies? 2 movies, my bad.
2 movies.
They tried to do it too, and you saw how that turned out. In one movie, it's a bad idea, man. It's a bad idea. I'm more worried about that than Doctor Doom, to be honest.
Yeah, Doctor Doom does, because we talked about that before. That it could be there's ways where he can be Doctor Doom. There's ways. There's lots of ways. There's ways that get, and they're easy ways. They're not even like because just the dynamic, like you could just do the dynamic of, and I talked about this, of Tony Stark always being like second fiddle to Reed, and it bothers him because Reed is an egomaniac like jerk, right? Especially if like, let's say he's from another universe where his dad didnn die, and his dad is all like,
why can't you be more like
Reed? Yeah. Why can't you be more like Reed? Type of thing.
Oh, I like that idea. I like that
because it seems very like the way it is, and there's so many other things like you can do too. So, or you can just maybe it's not Tony, maybe it's the other Tony from the 20. Since he looks like his dad, you could do that too.
The future one.
Yeah, you could do that too. There's lots of things you can do. So
There's an Iron Man that was a Kang variant.
Yeah, there's some things you can. There's lots of things you can. That's not a. I'm less worried about that. Like everyone was like, "Oh my god," and my wife was like, "What about this?" I said, they can make that work. That's not. And she was like, "Really?"
I have my doubts that they can make it work, but it's much easier to do that.
Yeah, it's like
Galactus.
Yeah, Galactus. Yeah, I mean, it almost makes me wonder that we get Galactus and they beat Galactus, and then maybe the Watcher finally shows up in the actual MCU and is like, other than just like a little cameo, like shows up and is like, well, you beat him, and maybe they make like the Beyonders be like bad.
I don't even think they even go that far, man.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to think of like what do you do that's bigger than Galactus? Unless you're gonna do a thing where
I already told you, if they're adapting Secret Wars, this better be the reboot. This better be how they reboot everything. That's the only thing you can do that's bigger than fucking Galactus. That's it.
True. Like that's why I thought at the end of Endgame, I thought that Scarlet Witch should have gotten the gauntlet and have been like, fix everything, and you do House of M, and that's how you do the.
There's too many people that don't like that story, though, Josh.
But
too many people that hate that story, man.
But they hate it because, like, that's how you get there. That's how you get there. You bring everything together, and then at the end, you basically do a soft reboot where everyone is now together, and we go on our heaven. And you don't have to do the House of M story because, yeah, no, I agree that's not what you do. It's just how you get to the next thing.
I got you. Because look, Batman is a property. Superman is a property. Spider-Man is a property. We've seen these characters played by other actors. Bottom line, Steve Rogers, property.
Right.
Fucking Tony Stark is a property. I know the concept of them being played by other actors is foreign, but they're no different than all these other characters.
That's why I think you just do a soft reboot and go on your way. And
you can bring all those characters back and just have them be played by different actors. This is how you do it.
Well, since
I just have my doubts. I think they're scared to do that. I think
what about? Did you see the Thunderbolts leak?
No. Interesting.
They're definitely doing.
They're definitely doing. Get out of here if you don't want. What happened, Josh?
Okay, so basically, it's them setting up the team. It's basically for sure. It's definitely the third Thunderbolts team because it's not. Okay. It's definitely the government sanctioned Thunderbolts team.
Fine. You want to do that? Cool.
Sentry is in it, which, yeah, I know. I don't know how. I don't know how they're going to do that because I mean, there's a Superman scene in it where they unload on him and he's just basically like, eh. So,
I hate that character, man.
I don't know. I still to this day don't know why they felt like they needed to make that character a hero. He's so much better when he's just like the guy. Of course, he's so much better.
Hyperion is better than him anyway.
Yes.
God, man.
Like I don't get why they just. I understand that there's that unwritten rule where they said that they wouldn't do, but.
That the only reason he even lasted that long is because they needed an out for World War Hulk. That's the only reason.
I mean,
they needed an out, and that was their out. And then they kept him around, and he should have never stayed around, bro.
Because he is everything bad about Superman. Everything bad.
Every single thing. Everything people think Superman is the Sentry.
Yeah,
that's that character.
Right. And part of it is it's also what people think they want Superman to be too. That's the other thing. And that's not every time someone says, "Oh, they just need to update story," no, they don't. They don't need to update this because every time
and you got it with the Sentry, and all y'all did was bitch about it. All y'all did.
And you go what? And you got it with Snyder's Superman, and everyone was like,
and all y'all did was bitch. So
it was like, I was like, yeah, you can't, like, he needs to be like a certain way.
Superman is a cornball, and that's okay. Him being a cornball is fine.
He's supposed to be, like, people forget he's supposed to be a country bumpkin and a lot of like in a lot of ways. Like, yes, he's super smart. Yes, he got, he's got the Kryptonian, all of the stuff, and he was taught how to do things, and he's super smart in a lot of ways, but he's also at his core still a country bumpkin kind of
was
guy.
Raised on a farm by two conservative white people. Come on, man. I don't know they're conservative, but you get what I'm saying.
But you can't say that. You can't say that because then the people that write the comics get mad because they're like, well, I don't want to write that.
Do you really think in Smallville, Kansas, Jonathan Kent was standing up for trans rights in Smallville? No. It's okay. It's fine.
Like it's
fine.
Yeah, I know. It's like I know. It's just like you have writers that just, I think, refuse to write Nightcrawler because they don't know how to.
They don't know how to handle religion. They don't know how to do it.
They're like, so they don't want to write him.
Look, man. Look. I appreciate that comics. Okay, now we done went to something else, but I appreciate that comics have now spoken to the downtrodden, the people that aren't usually represented, the people that before, you know what I mean, comics didn't give a fuck about it all. I appreciate that, but we got to stop being so sensitive. You know what I mean? Comics were uncomfortable. Comics at their best. Everybody loves Watchmen. Watchmen is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable read. Comics are supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. All the best ones do. All the best ones do. Why is that so hard to do now? Why are people so scared to do that now? I don't get it. It's just comics.
People want, I think it's the whole, not to get off on a side rant, but I think it's very much my life is lived in this narrative, so I have to preach this narrative in the thing that I do. And instead of having more of a, hey, let's have more of a world view of something, and let's make it a little bit more like how it actually is, right?
And don't get me wrong, that can work because some of the best stories I've read are, people that, what I'm saying, one that represent themselves on the page. Like one of my favorite Green Lantern stories, I don't know if you ever read it, Jack, it came a few years ago, but Far Sector, about the chick that is chosen, for the black chick that's chosen to be a Green Lantern, and the whole story is pretty much her origin to become pretty much the best Green Lantern not named Hal Jordan. In the whole, I love that story, man. But it works though because it addresses the fact that, oh, this is unprecedented. This don't usually happen, and we don't really like this. Like the Guardians were like, yeah, you were chosen, I guess, but they address it. Oh man, I hate it, bro. And it's undertones in there that are really uncomfortable. And that's why it works. It's really uncomfortable.
Make people think. Make people think. That's what. Don't preach to them. Make them think.
Think.
That's
you guys love X-Men. Guess what? That's why you love X-Men.
Right. Exactly. Though I would argue that to make X-Men really work, they all do need to be mostly like white supermodel looking people, because I think then it enforces what you're trying to say more of, the only reason these people
we're ignorant. These people are so ignorant that they don't even care that these people
right. Like, to me, that's, but anyways. I was gonna add, so we have, I think before we got on here, I think when we did this last time, we talked a little bit about, like, because you were upset you didn't get to go to Evo, and you kind of complained about that. But I have a question for you, and I know it's like a year out, and there's still a lot of things that can happen. But I got bored at work this last week We've been slow. So I was watching a lot of stuff that came out of Evo. And what do you think happens next year as far as the games that are going to be the featured games? Because
at Evo,
at Evo,
that's a good question.
because it looks like, and I know they're getting ready to come out with a big update, that Mortal Kombat might not be on that list.
I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine. I know it sounds crazy, but I can't. I cannot imagine another Realm game not being a part of Evo. That's crazy, man. I know you're not the first person to say that, but the fucking interest was so low this year, and a lot of people don't realize it. This is the first year Mortal Kombat 1 was actually at Evo, and it was less. They did less interest than Under Night and Birth. That's crazy. And don't get me wrong, I love watching Under Night. Don't like playing it, but Under Night is so niche. This is a game that has Homelander, Omni-Man, and John Cena, and less people wanted to play that competitively. I feel like the update, all they have to do to fix everything, right, to get the diehards back, right. The story of this you got to attract more casuals, which every update with Mortal Kombat has done that. Aftermath with 11 did that. All the combat packs in 10 did that. It's just casual players are about to come into MK1. Now, what you need to focus on is allowing the game to be broken. Let me explain. So when the game first came out, it was super fun. Everybody was digging it because everything was broken. The Cyrex cameo stayed on the screen for too long. The Sub-Zero cameo kept you frozen for too long. The Striker cameo, when he handcuffed you, there was a glitch where you could actually make him stay on the screen with you handcuffed. Stuff like that. Throw all of that. Don't throw all of that back in the game, but make everything strong. Every character needs to be strong. Every cameo needs to be strong. Because now in this game, I'm getting nerdy, by the way, y'all. But now in this game, there's maybe 6 or 7 characters that you can even hope to win with at all, instead of it being the whole cast like it was when the game first came out. Every character could win when the game first came out. Sub-Zero had its problems with his damage. They fixed the damage, but then as a result of fixing the damage, they took away a lot of the tools that he had at mid-screen. His options at mid-screen are not the same because they wanted to fix his damage, so they started nerfing all the other shit that you can use to trap people. The ice clone, the fucking ice clone is trash now. You know what I mean? It's like now they've overcompensated, and nobody wants to play the game. It's not fun anymore.
Nerfing should always be the last option. What you should do is you should try to strengthen everybody else instead of trying to nerf.
To come back to the
right. And I know that's harder because you're trying to do more stuff, but to me that makes it. I've always felt that way with any type of game, that whenever anybody instead of nerfing things, why don't you just try to make the things that are weak stronger, and then you don't have to worry about nerfing things, and you don't get people mad because you.
But here's the thing: what are we talking about nerfing? Because some things absolutely need to be nerfed.
Yeah.
A very good example. I don't know if you remember, but Street Fighter 2, the handcuff glitch.
Oh yeah.
The handcuff glitch.
Yeah.
They knew immediately we can't have them have that in the next. You have to do that type of stuff. Sagat's damage in Street Fighter 2 Turbo. They took all that, the Tiger Uppercut being one hit that does 25% damage. Him being able to combo in the Tiger Knee off a crouching. I'm a fighting game nerd, y'all. I'm sorry, but off a crouching light kick, he's able to combo into a Tiger Knee and stun you. They took that out in Super, but they left in the code where you could play as the old version of the characters. But the Super version of Sagat, they took out all of that because they had to. Because you can't have him have all of that plus a super combo. You can't do that. You know what I mean? So it's like some things have to be nerfed. But I agree with you. At its core, though, strengthen the bottom tier. That's how every game. Street Fighter 6 has it right, because the bottom tier of the game for the longest was Zangief. Everybody was like, you can't win with Zangief. He's a pincushion, all this stuff. And he still is. But the thing that Zangief has now is a faster drive rush. Because the whole idea with Zangief, you want to get in. They made his animation faster, so now he's in there quick as hell. So yeah, he's still bad. He's still a pincushion, but he's fucking dangerous now. You know what I mean? He's dangerous. Nobody is comfortable fighting him like they were before. I wasn't scared of him. I played Marissa. Wasn't scared of him. Just keep him at mid-screen, hit him with gladiuses, keep him in check. But now, because of that drop rush, he's right on you. So that's how you do it. Just take a character, just use the Zangief template, take the worst strength about the weakest character and make it the strongest thing about the weakest character. And that's how games survive. That's how I know Street Fighter 6 is going to be around for a while. That's how I know Tekken 8 is going to be around for a while. That's how I know. That's how King of Fighters 15 keeps surviving, because each update, like now, when Geese first was released, Geese was one of the worst characters in the game. Geese just won Evo. You know what I mean? That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
But
that's my TED talk.
Okay, but
to actually answer your question, the actual games will be Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8. Let's see. When's League of Legends coming out? When's that coming out?
Yeah, I see. That's the one I'm wondering about, is because
it's going to be popular enough though, because it's League.
But what I'm wondering, like, I don't think people realize how popular it's going to be. That's what I'm wondering. I think that's the one people will sleep on, because
it's going to be like Dragon Ball. It's going to be like Dragon Ball was, 100%.
You know, and people are going to be like, wait, what? Where did this come from? Because you're gonna have that. You'll have City of the Wolves.
Definitely, 100%.
You know, so that
it hurts though. It hurts because I know City of the Wolves is gonna be a main game, which means King of Fighters won't be anymore.
Right.
And that's my, that's the one, because the first year I went to Evo was 2013, whichever year that was, where the Balla and Matt KOF final in King of Fighters 13. I was there for that. I think it was 2013. Was that 2012? Might have been 2012. It doesn't matter. But King of Fighters is always the game I do the best in. Like, every time, I always do the best in that, because I'm actually good at that. I actually know what the fuck I'm doing. So I don't know how. Like, I played City of the Wolves, the early build of it. It's super different than Fatal Fury, because Fatal Fury, if you don't remember Fatal Fury, what makes it so different from Street Fighter is that Street Fighter wants you to play lane. That's why characters like Ryu and the original Street Fighter 2, characters like Ryu and Sagat, they want you to control the screen. They want you to play lane. Fatal Fury wants you to get in people's face. Like, it wants you to just go. And City of the Wolves is basically that. So I don't know how I'll be at that. And King of Fighters 15 is like that, but I think what makes me so good at King of Fighters 15 is that my combo routes, the way I think. Like, you might open me up, but when I open you up, you're gonna die. This is how I am. But yeah, I'm concerned about City. I'm concerned about City of the Wolves, not the game itself, but how good I'll be at it.
Yeah, as I figure that'll be, because it has a lot of hype. It has more hype than
yes,
I thought it would.
Let me tell you. So when I played the early build of it, it was at this event in Atlanta where all these games were there. It was like a little mini tournament. It was fun. The line for City of the Wolves went out the door. Like, it was so many, like, literally out the door. People were lining up to play 2 sets of City of the Wolves and go back in the back of the line and play again. People were really excited. I was one of those people, stood in line for 20 minutes to play 2 sets. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. Especially when I had to use that horrible fucking PS5 controller. Didn't like that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But anyways, but no, and
obviously Strive will be back. Strive will be back.
Cool. And that's the other, like watching, like I watched the reaction videos for the different announcements, right? And I'm putting Street Fighter 6 on a different thing, because I think the Terry announcement completely has that game set for maybe a year and a half, because
Don't forget mine, Terry and mine.
I know. Like, but I think we'll have a lot of discussion depending on how they handle her. I'll just put it like that. I'm wondering
she's not gonna be as sexy as she usually
is.
No.
But I'm just wondering like how they're going to, like, what that's gonna be like.
I imagine she'll play like she does in KOF, which that's a scary thought in Street Fighter.
That's what I was thinking.
It's a scary thought, man. But I imagine this is what they're gonna do. She'll be like she is in KOF.
I think in a lot of ways she translates better to Street Fighter as far as like in game than like Terry does. I mean, Terry's Terry, but
all right. The thing I worry about with Terry is what will the burn knuckle and the rising tackle be? Because if they let the burn knuckle be what it is in Fatal Fury, where the it's safe, like the light one is safe and he's invincible and blocking all that stuff, he's gonna be a danger. If it's like how it is in King of Fighters, then Terry's nothing to worry about. If he's Fatal Fury Terry Bogard, I'm scared to death. If he's King of Fighters Terry Bogard, he'll be good. He'll be good, but not,
because we'll see. We'll see.
Fatal Fury Terry Bogard in Street Fighter 6 though. I don't know. Like, I was excited because I love Terry, but I don't know if that's fun. Let's put it like, I don't know if that's fun.
But no, because I think that's a big enough announcement, and then whatever they have going into season 3, I think will be like, that's like a different level. Because I think Tekken 8, I know a lot of people talked about that they were like, and I was kind of, when I heard people say this, I was kind of like, what are you talking about? That they were shocked that Tekken 8 wasn't the number 1 game at EVO. And I was like,
I was a little bit too, because
it's newer. Because it's new.
That game is super popular. Like, let's put it like this. Like, here in South Carolina, everybody plays Tekken. And like, I play Street Fighter and King of Fighters, and I'm like, not nearly as many people play. I went to an event where it's just a casual get together, call it Fight Night. Shout out to my boy Mello Hendricks. There was 125 people there, and there were like 12 setups, and 11 of them were playing Tekken. So I was in charge of the one setup that was playing everything else all night.
Right. So. But no, it's weird to me because like the vibe you get is like, just the vibe you get is that Street Fighter 6 is a much bigger game, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But I wonder if it's just because the casual. But my bigger point is that the
casuals like Street Fighter 6 though. That's been the strength. That's been like, because they didn't like 5. I mean, hell, I didn't like 5 to the end, and they like 4. That's why 4 was able to, so the casuals and the diehard's like 6, so that's why 6 has been able to maintain its popularity.
And then, but yeah, then I figure Strive will be fine because Strive is getting like I don't think she'll be good like in tournaments, but you're getting Izzy.
And that she's first, right?
She's first. And that's a character people like. And sometimes if you just give people a character they like, and then you're getting Venom on top of it, which, I mean, he's probably the one that people would.
He's never good though. He's fun. He's never good. He's never been good. He's cool, but he's never been good. Well, that's not true. He was good in Guilty Gear X, but that was so long ago, man. It's never. He's usually bad though.
And then you got the new
Lucy
character
from Cyberpunk,
right? And you got the character that was in the anime.
The anime that's coming.
Yeah, and I'm like seeing all these people talk about. Oh, I wonder how Lucy's gonna play. I said she's gonna have her freaking mono thing, and she's gonna be.
See, here's the thing though. How with a character like that, you would think she would be more, let's see, who would be a good comp for her? And there's really no comp for her.
There's nobody.
Because
I think she's going to be really. I think she's going to be really fast, and like all.
But how does the wire work though? Like, how are they gonna? Is it gonna be just a movement thing? Is she gonna be
It's
pulling
probably
you
a
in with
movement
it?
thing, I think, and she can probably use it like as a whip, maybe, but like to extend strikes, maybe, and
I don't know.
then
Will she have some sort of cooldown? Because cyber psycho.
right,
Will they integrate that in the game?
maybe we'll see. But
I can't wait for a trailer, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Because I think it'll be like I was I thought it was going to be the dude from the game from the but I'm glad that
you thought it was gonna be David.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be David, and then they were like, oh no, it's Lucy, so maybe it'll actually follow the story a little bit because since she's the only one that's still
she's the only one that made it.
Made it. So that'll be interesting. But no, I just was like, I heard people talking about it, and I was like, man, it'd be so weird if Mortal Kombat wasn't on that list.
Josh, I can't imagine it.
But you're going to have a League of Legends game, and you're going to have City of the Wolves.
And the Strive will probably be what it was this year.
Right.
And then people love Grand Blue. I don't know. Now, Under Night, I don't think Under Night makes it again next year. I don't think that happens because, like you said, City of the Wolves. Then you got the League of Legends game. The Strive is going to be fine, and then because all the main games, how many did we have this year? We had Street Fighter, Tekken, Third Strike, Strive,
and you're going to have whatever game they add. They add to replace Third Strike.
Oh yeah, they choose a classic game every year. Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be CVS too, man.
I would be shocked if it's not. I would be shocked if it's not.
Because last year we got Marvel.
And the thing with that is, I could see that sign up being crazy.
Hello, if it's CVS 2, hello. I signed up for Marvel 2 last year and did not last very long. But it's CVS 2. Listen, I'll crack it up. I'll crack it open right now. I'll crack it open. One of my boys has the old the CPS 2 arcade setup. You're damn right we'll dust that thing off, plug it up.
But yeah,
CBS 2, come on, man.
And it's interesting. It was interesting watching like the reaction videos because like people were excited about the Tekken 8 reveal. People were excited about that, but I was kind of like, it's one character. How far? Like it's still Tekken 8. Tekken 8 will be fine.
I ain't gonna lie, that hot trailer is so great though.
It's great. It's great.
So great.
It's great, but it's one character, and it seemed like it was more for the story mode, which is fine because I think that's good.
Harada lied to Sarada. He's dead. Heihachi is dead. I knew he was lying. Come on, man. Heihachi. I'm sure in their mind he's the actual main character. Okay. Yeah, of course.
It's not the other two. It's
he was in the first game. He was in the second. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'm sure in their mind somehow that the story doesn't necessarily revolve around him, but he's the main character.
I mean, it did in 7. 7 was all about Heihachi.
But I wonder if they could go back, if they would have made him younger if they could go back and change things, if they would make him like younger, so it would make
de-age him or something like that.
Yeah, de-age him a little bit.
Doesn't matter, man.
I know it doesn't matter.
He even looks younger than he's ever looked in like a while.
Yeah. I was like, oh, look at that. But people were excited about that. But then like watching like the reaction to like the Strive stuff and seeing people like giddy, it was so weird. Like people were giddy about like that reveal.
Because I tell you what, Josh, because we're just excited they're still supporting that game.
Yeah,
like I'm excited that it's a hit, and I'm excited that they're still supporting it. Because at this point, Arc System's moving on to something else. That's just what they do. They support Strive for maybe Guilty Gear for like maybe 2-3 years, and then they're done with. Strive been out since 2020, Josh. Like it's been an old game. It's been playable since 2019. It's been out since 2020, and they're still supporting it. We're getting another season. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. We might get another one after that
because you don't even have everybody that everybody wants. I mean, that's,
yeah,
and that's the thing with Strive is that's the one thing I've definitely noticed is just for me personally, the characters are so much better than so many other fighting games. Just like every scene, like it's deep. It's deep as like people that you want to like actually go through and play, even if they're not good, that you still want to go through and like play with.
Other than there's no, and I don't think there's any character that's like way above the cat except Happy Chaos. That character's bullshit. But other than that, there's no character I feel like is way above the cast.
Right.
So, and that's one of the only games, period, that's like that at all. Like Tekken, we thought that about Tekken 8, but Dragunov ended up being that character that everyone was using.
He's always that character.
And we thought that about Street Fighter, and then we saw fucking Cammy pretty much dominate, and we saw fucking Cammy and Ed fucking dominated. And then they still dominate the Pro Tour. We all thought Bison was really good. I told you first, Josh. I don't think he's good.
Yeah,
he's my main, but I don't think he's good.
I don't think because you said you thought everyone had like caught up and kind of surpassed him a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Bison isn't as good as everybody thinks, and Akuma definitely isn't. Not in Street Fighter 6. That low health in that game.
Do you think they did that on purpose? Do you think that was their way of like keeping him in check?
But he's always had low health. That's just the character.
That's just. But
yes.
But no, I was just curious because I was thinking about it. Like I knew, but then I was like, man, you know what? The League of Legends game is coming out, and then City of Wolves is coming out. I go, man, you might not have like. And on its second year, a Mortal Kombat game in its second year,
and that's when the fall off usually happens. Like that's when it falls off the map. Because every year, Mortal Kombat isn't like when Mortal Kombat 9 came out, there was like almost 1,000 people. Mortal Kombat 10, there was well over 1,000 people. Mortal Kombat 11, there was almost 2,000 people. And then the next year is when it started this
trip. Like
hell, I entered 10 and 11 both times the first time they were there, and it was so many people in that tournament. A lot of people just pressing buttons, not knowing because it was Mortal Kombat. It was
yes.
And even Injustice did not do this, and nobody likes Injustice 2. They need to fix Mortal Kombat 1, man. They need to fix it.
Do you think? I thought it was very because I was just like, all right, I don't see Street Fighter 6 falling off. If Tekken fell off, it was not going to fall off a lot. No. I mean, this is its first year too. That's the other thing that people like forget. And then Strive seemed like it's like going to be a mainstay until
Strive is growing. Strive is growing.
And then you got the other anime fighters that which to me is the weird
that'll always be there, and then the anime fighter, whatever they choose, which is probably gonna be Grand Blue again.
It's weird to me to see what's one of the things just like watching people is the people who are probably closer to your age that see the anime fighters and are like, I don't know about these, and I see them and I'm like, what do you mean you don't know about it? This is what we always wanted. This is what like the people my age always wanted was the games to look like this, and we couldn't have that. So it's kind of interesting to see. Which I think that's probably why I like Strive so much is because probably why I've liked all the Guilty because they look like what we always wanted the fighting games to look like, especially the 2D fighters, and they look like it, even more than Street Fighter and the SNK games. So
yeah. Strive is just oppressive as hell. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
No, and have you seen any of the footage of the 3-on-3? That is nuts.
Man.
That is.
I don't think I'm ever gonna touch it. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't think I ever touch it.
I don't know how that's got to be just like at some point you're just pressing shit and hoping. And
to me, I love Strive, but that I I am a guy who always drop combos, who always fucks up, but I know what I'm doing. I understand fundamentals. But with Strive, that's why I'm no good, because I always devolve into just pressing shit. It always happens. It happens. I always realize, like, why did I match? Like, I just don't understand. That's what happens every time.
It's because there's too much stuff going on the screen. I think that's what.
And then you do 3-on-3. Oh, it's gonna be bad, man. It's just gonna be like this on the stick, man. I wish that wasn't the case, but it happens every time, man.
I very much, just playing it, feel like it's a game that you have to be very patient and just like not get freaked out.
If you play patient,
oh, then you're screwed. Yeah,
you're gonna die. So
I mean, when I say patient is not the right word. You have to be very like calm while you play it. You can't.
Correct.
You've got to be like, okay, this is happening. I'll wait a second and then I'll do my thing. You can't get freaked out.
It's all about, you gotta let what I learned from going to Evo the year before. I wish I could have went this year, but what I learned, what people were telling me, especially a lot of Japanese dudes like Dogura sat down with me for like 15 minutes and it was kind of cool. He was basically telling me that when I'm doing these block strings, just wait, just let me finish. Because the game limits how many times you can actually, like, go through a string. And when the string ends, it's very obvious that is your turn. And if I block, finish your string. If I don't block, then go ahead, do your combo. But let me. And it's so hard in my head because it looks so crazy that I'm like, man, what? I can't just sit here. I gotta do something. But sit there. Like, if you watch the top level Strive, you see a lot of times they're just sitting there because they're waiting for their turn. The game wants you to wait for your turn. It's so nerve-wracking, man. It's just seeing all this shit on the screen and you're just waiting for it is nerve-wracking. I respect every like top level Strive player, man. You are not human if you're good at Strive. You're not human. Question in the chat though. Somebody asked, did we play Lies of P yet? I haven't. It's chilling on my bookshelf. I hadn't played it yet though.
Yeah, like I okay. So I'm not massive on like Souls games. I played Lies of P. Lies of P's good for a Souls game, but it's just and I like the world of it, which helps. But it's
that game was hard as shit.
What?
Lies of P.
Oh, it's Lies of P is hard. Like, but I do like the world. I do like the art style and all of that. I like the idea of the game. So, and I haven't played that much of it. I probably played like 10 hours of it, but
10 hours? That's a long time.
Yeah. But I'm not good at it, so it's not like I'm getting very far.
Okay, so yeah, you probably ain't got very far.
Yeah. So
it's 10 hours of death. That's what.
It's like, but no, yeah, that's my. Yeah, I mean,
right now I'm replaying the Outer Worlds because it was a gift, and I feel bad if I didn't play it. So I got even though I played it before, I'm like, let me play this again. Man, that game is like Fallout New Vegas if it was terrible. That's what that game is. It's like
it's kind of
it's the same people, I know, but it's like it's so repetitive. Go
it's
grab
very
this
repetitive.
thing. Go bring this thing back.
Right.
Go talk to this person and make a decision that doesn't really mean anything.
I like the idea of the game. There's a lot about the game I really like. But yeah, it gets very repetitive. You want to start like just not even worry about the side quests, which is not good in a game like that.
That's where I'm at, man. I want to just get to the end so I can be like, oh, I played it. See, I finished it.
Yeah. Because I got where did I get it? I got it from a couple of different places. I got it free from somewhere, and then I think it was free on the Epic Store. The special version that has all the DLCs and everything. Yeah, like I like it. I like the idea of it. I like I like the the comedy in it. It's very like there's a lot of things I like, but yeah, it's very repetitive. Once you get certain weapons, it's very like you never change weapons.
That's all you need to use.
Yeah,
that's all you need to use. The shrink gun, that's all I've been using, that shrink gun. And then running up and then just meleeing people.
But yeah, it's good. It's just not as good as I would have hoped.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm ready for it to be over. Like I played it before when it first came out. I just didn't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I said that, and then somebody I know was like, "Hey, man, you got to finish it, man." In fact, got something for you. He got it for me, which I appreciate. Yay! But
I mean, it's the story's good, but it's very repetitive. It's very like it definitely feels like they weren't able to make the game they wanted to make. Does that make sense?
What? That's everyone. What are you talking about?
I know, but I mean, like they definitely they had grand ideas and then couldn't do them, and so that's what we got.
Oh well, yeah.
Also,
speaking of game with grand ideas, how about Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, killing WB Games?
Oh, did it?
The rumor is that they're selling a bunch of shit because they lost so much money.
On that. I got it for free from Prime Games and have never.
Oh, it's good for free.
but yeah. I got another thing for you. This is the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Why is it? Because if I was watching and we were streaming and people were watching us when SNK versus Capcom was announced, Chaos was announced.
Yeah.
Why did none of these people? I think I saw one person who like talked about it when it was announced. Warn people about that game. Warn people what that game is.
That's not good.
I wouldn't say.
I appreciate it. Who was that? Hell Pockets. Well, Hell Pockets little commentary. He was like, "Oh man, it's so cool. I mean, that game's really different, but it's so really, yeah." I appreciated that. Like,
I would have just been like, "This is what I would have said. I like this game, but I like this game because it's broken as shit, and because it's so broken, it can be fun." But
man, it was broken. Wild. When I played that after it came out, I was so excited because I hadn't played it in years, and I was like, "Oh, this is why! Like, fuck this game! Like, fucking hate that game, man! It's so wild because the hit boxes for every character it's not consistent. So you take a character like Bison, and it looks like something should hit him low, and it just whips completely because he's standing weird. And I hate that game, man. Like half the cast you can't even play because most of the cast has nothing that confirms into their super. You just throw out supers randomly. I hate that game, bro. Like Ryu is terrible. Ryu is so bad in that game. He's so like the patented low forward Hadouken spinning every game. If you learn Street Fighter at all, that's the first thing people teach you. Low forward Hadouken. It doesn't even connect in that. You can't even do it. You can't even do the fundamental Street Fighter low forward cancel into Hadouken.
I mean, because I would have been like, all right, understand what you're getting if you get this game, because it was not finished. They released it. It was not finished. The bosses, especially the two end bosses, are broken as shit. They're broken as like if you unlock them, they're fun to play because they're that broken. It's that kind of and there's lots of cool things that you can do. Like there's some of the supers that are really, really cool, but
it looks good. I'll say that it looks good.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell that they had a really good idea. They just weren't able to finish the game. And so, and this isn't like Vampire Bloodlines where fans were able to go in and finish the game for SNK and make it like what it should be. But
there's a net in this goddamn room. Go ahead.
But that would have been my thing. I was like, I understand what you're getting. The game is not great. It's fun because of some of the characters you can be, but understand that it's not what you're buying.
Terry is a ton of fun in that. But
I heard very few people. I heard like one or two people. I think the guy you said, because I remember him saying that. Max was like, "Oh, this is a very, how did he put it? A very interesting game with a cool cast, a cool cast." And I was like, and the cast is because it's a very different cast, a very unique cast, but that's why you get it. It's just because it's a fun, weird cast, and but the game is not. If you buy it thinking you're getting like an awesome fighter,
you're not.
You're not.
And nobody is online. Nobody's on. Because I sat for fucking 3 hours waiting on a rank match.
Because people start playing it and we're probably like, oh yeah, I remember why this was the thing. Now I would have said, you buy the game not for this game, but to send the message that we want the other thing.
You want the other one, yeah. and that was part of the reason I bought, because at first I didn't really remember it, and I obviously want the other one.
Yeah. So and hopefully we'll get that at some point.
The other one?
The other one.
I don't know if we're gonna get a third one, but I just want a re-release with online netcode. That's it.
I mean,
I'll take it.
I would be shocked if we don't get that. I would.
And you know what? We'll probably, I don't think we'll ever get the first one though. The original Capcom versus SNK. I don't think we'll get that. But just give me the second one.
Why do you think we won't get the first one?
Because the first one in itself is rare in general. Like I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll just re-release the second one if they do it. I think.
We'll see. I mean that Marvel collection is insane. So,
that is true. I never thought we would get the arcade version of X-Men vs Street Fighter on console. So
I mean,
never thought that.
And they threw Punisher in there, and that's the one that, like, I get people are all excited because you're getting like the fighting games, but if you've never played that Punisher beat 'em up, that's one of the best,
one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Like that. It really, like, they released it, and then I felt really bad because I was like, fuck, they released that, but we'll probably never get Aliens versus Predator, which is also really, really good if you've ever played it. It's what the movie
that's Capcom, right? Is that still Capcom, right?
Yeah, that's still Capcom.
Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah. Like, but we'll probably never get that. But that one's really good too. So that I would but anyways. So what have you been reading anything specific lately?
I caught up on all my Avatar books. The Azula mini that came out. I reread that, and then I was just reading like all of the other Avatar books that have come out. I mean, all of them are good. I really love that Azula mini, so great. But all of them are good. All of them feel like extensions of the show, but none of them are essential, and that's my biggest problem. None of them are essential. Sean, I'm sure you've been reading those minis, Sean. None of them feel essential. Like, well, not the minis. I guess they're all like connected now, but none of them feel essential. They're all just good Avatar books. Yeah, the Azula one was awesome, but none are essential. None. And I've been reading the tie-ins to the Last Ronin, like the sequel one. It's not a sequel, it's a prequel, I guess. And also the one that led directly into the Last Ronin. Good stuff. Also not essential though. That's the theme of what I'm about to tell you, Josh. One thing I did read though that I didn't read at the time it came out was Batman White Knight. Have you ever read that, Josh?
I don't think I have.
That's the one. I spoiled the premise. Okay, so apparently there's these experimental pills that the Joker stole and was selling all to Gotham, right? Batman gets upset at him, and he takes a bottle of them, opens them up, shoves them down his throat. And those pills heal the Joker. Like he's completely normal, but he's as conniving as the Joker is. He's just normal. He's a regular guy. Now he wants to atone for his sins. So with his newfound clarity, he wants to bring down the Batman and his character and all that stuff. That's his new lease on life. It is so awesome. The first one is awesome. There's a sequel, hadn't read it yet, but that first one is awesome. Stuff like that is what they should be doing with the Joker, man. Like we've done all of the crazy clown stuff. We've done it all. There's so many. I think we've done that to death. I think we're done with the crazy clown.
My youngest daughter doesn't like non-clown Joker. Apparently,
why?
I don't know. I don't think she's ever
best version of him.
I don't think she's ever seen non-clown Joker. I think that's probably part of the reason. So we'll see.
Get her to read The Dark Knight Returns because he's not a clown in that. Ain't shit funny about him in that.
She won't read that. She's 10. She won't read that.
I read it when I
understand, but she won't read it when she's 10. She's now into romance manga. So
oh my god, she's like my niece. She's like my niece, man.
Like that, and she went from, and I knew this was going to happen. She went from Miraculous Ladybug, because I would watch that with her, and I'm like, oh god, I know what's coming. And then sure enough, she was messing around on the Roku, and she found Sailor Moon, and and she watched like 4 episodes, and we're like, this is like Ladybug, and I'm like, yes.
No, Ladybug is like that. Cat Noir is just tuxedo mask. Same guy,
right? And then she like watched the first season, and she was like, "This is just like it. It's just like they actually like progress the love story." And I'm like, "Yes." Wherein, and you know, because she'll still watch. Like, she says she doesn't like Ladybug anymore, but she'll still go back and watch it.
You catch her watching it.
I'll catch her watching it because I know she's waiting for them to like actually progress the story. So yeah. Let's see what the only thing I've been reading is I went back and I started rereading Hack and Slash. So
I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Some of the greatest horror stuff ever written.
Yes.
That stuff.
Yeah, that and I can't remember the name of it. I've got a horror comic that Niles did that is not part of 30 Days of Night, but it's in that style, so it's very weird. But it's much more just like regular horror stuff. So
I've also been reading, the Transformers Energize stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. All of it's awesome. All of it, man. Whenever they do more of the live action stuff, just copy those comics, man. Just open those comics and just redo all those scenes in those comics, man.
Well, that's like we'll go back to the Aliens versus Predator beat 'em up game is based on the original Aliens, the Dark Horse stuff. That's where they got the ideas from.
I didn't know that.
That's where they got the ideas from. So, which if you've ever wondered what Aliens versus Predator movie could be, go read those comics and then cry. Then go cry and be like, why is this stuff exist and we can't get and we get stuff like Requiem and stuff like that. So
I also read now I'm thinking about shit I've been reading. I also read Power Rangers, the rest of the Boom run, because it's over now. They should stop. They should.
They didn't stick the landing.
No, they did not stick the landing.
Did they pull a Fables?
Where it just kept going after it was over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the main villain of the Boom Power Ranger stuff is Lord Draken. If you don't know who Lord Draken is, it's by the way, if you're a 90s kid, read all that stuff up until this point. So Lord Draken is Tommy from an alternate timeline that never turned and joined the Rangers. He stayed with Rita. He realized Rita was full of shit, so he killed her. Realized there was a grid of just different Power Rangers from different universes, different morphing grids. And the first event they did was Shattered Grid. It was him jumping all over the multiverse, killing Rangers, taking their morphers and using them and shit like that. All of that is awesome. All of that is amazing. They end up beating him. They trap him in a dimension where there are no Rangers, no life, blah, blah, blah. He finds a way out of it, and he starts again, but this time he turns good, and he sacrifices himself to save everybody, save like a version of Kimberly because his Kimberly died, and all that stuff. All that's good too. But now he's gone. It should have ended right. They decided to keep doing stuff. There's no more story to tell. At this point, you're just coming up with stuff. You just come, and then he comes back at the end to help them against like the big threat. I can't remember the big threat. Can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. He comes back at the end to help them, and it's just, yeah, man. Nah, man.
That's Power Rangers. I don't really care. Don't really care. Not my thing.
Hold on, where's the Sling Blade putting in? Teased at the beginning. Sling Blade. What were we talking about? I don't remember that. What did I tease?
Sling Blade.
Oh, you talking about Gambit? You talking about Gambit?
Okay.
I'm glad we never got the movie. I don't think Channing Tatum doing that character can carry a solo movie.
No, it could not. Can you
he was
imagine? Good. It was
fun.
It was fun. The one thing I will say with that is I really do think they should have brought in like the other X-Men so you could get that Gambit Rogue thing just for a little bit,
Yeah.
But we didn't get that. So
yeah. I'm glad we didn't get the movie. I'm glad because
but Gambit
that would have got old. Could you imagine a whole movie of him doing that?
But Gambit as a solo movie anyways is a bad idea. He's not a solo movie character.
Whoa now. Whoa.
He's not.
Whoa. A Gambit heist movie? You don't think that could work? Come on, Josh. Come on.
I love that character too.
One of the best Gambit stories is the miniseries where he was stealing from Dr. Doom. You ever read that? Where he stole from Dr. Doom? Oh, Josh, it's so good. It's so good, man. It's like Mission Impossible with Gambit.
I mean, he's one of my favorite characters. I think in a movie form, I think the character would get old really fast.
Oh yeah.
I think that just because of the way the character is, you need somebody like you would need Rogue or somebody else for him to play off of. Him by himself would be like, I think.
Yeah, not my cup of tea. I just couldn't imagine 2 hours of that.
Right.
Nah, bro.
I mean, it was cool to see though. It was cool
it was cool in the moment. It was cool for the joke, but nah, bro. Nah, man. You see, usually the X-Men is a group. They make a Gambit movie. They would start making a Wolverine movie.
They made a Wolverine movie, and we don't talk about it.
Movie. They made 2 of them. Well, they made 3 of them.
Because what they made Logan, and then they made
X-Men Origins and the Wolverine.
Right.
Two of those are good.
2 of those. One of them is
fantastic, but one is pretty.
We don't talk about.
Yeah, it's one of those '90s comic book movies, man. It's pretty.
We don't talk about. I mean it's bad when at the end of Deadpool 2, Ryan Reynolds goes and shoots himself, so he's not Green Lantern, and he's not that weird whatever Deadpool.
You know what's so annoying about that? Because they got it right at the beginning of the movie. Like they got it. The Deadpool y'all see now, that's what he's doing in like when he first shows up in that movie. And then they get the bright idea to cover his mouth.
Yeah, I know. It was weird.
All right, man.
I mean, he was very much like Deadpool, like and then that movie was so. The movie starts off pretty good too, and then
that opening sequence where you see Sabretooth and Wolverine throughout history.
Really...
Oh my god, one of the greatest sequences in all the comic book films, and then the movie is so bad after that, man. So after that point, it's so garbage. And I was so hyped for that because I was like, "Oh, we're finally getting Wolverine and Sabretooth." Like,
hey, it stopped a Magneto Origins movie too.
Oh yeah, now that one would have been awesome, right? Like, could you imagine? Wasn't that supposed to be like when he was a kid during the Holocaust or something like that?
Yeah,
man. God damn it, man. God damn it. Somebody brought up The Wolf Among Us too. Yes. The Wizard of Oz in fucking Fables. Come on, man. They're still making it though. Apparently, it's still supposed to be coming this year.
All right. I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm saying I have my doubts.
Believe it when I see it.
I have my doubts.
Believe it when I see it.
Oh, something else I'm reading too, Josh. Superman, the current run of Superman, because it was recommended to me, and I gotta say, if there was a way that I could just take the art in that, it'd be awesome. If there was a way I could just take the moments in that, it'd be awesome. I don't like how he's written in it. I don't like.
I'm telling you, there's
don't like it.
People are. I think a lot of current comic book writers who write for Marvel and DC and like the big stuff don't know how to write superheroes.
You said superheroes in general, like all of them?
Yeah, I don't think they know how to
Josh said all of them.
I don't think like
not one, all of them.
Because you look at like you read stuff like on webcomics and you read like even manga and you read just stuff that people post online. There's people that get it, but then they're not writing like especially like for the big two at all. And it's just like, and the people writing for the big two, I'm like, I feel like they're glorified. Many of them are just glorified indie writers that in other eras would not be.
Well, they are, Josh. They literally are.
And it's like, what are we doing here? Do you guys not know how to write? Like, but that's, we need. I
mean, there's something I love. Like, I love Tom Taylor. That's my guy. The guy that writes Nightwing. I love Chip Zdarsky. Love him. Whoo.
You're like, okay.
Of the modern the chick, the Wonder Woman chick, G. Willow Wilson. Love her. I think that might be it. I think that. The Captain America dude. I can't remember. Love Captain America right now though. But there's a lot that's
It's it's like they don't get like how to write them, and they're writing like, they're trying to write these comics that should be like mainstays and should be written certain ways, the way and
like
they're trying
indie
to tell
comics.
the story, like indie comics, and they're trying to tell the stories for the indie comic that they're not able to make, and it's like, I don't know about that.
Like Josh, think about it. What's the last I bought up all the good ones like Zdarsky's Daredevil.
I haven't like of the big two. The last thing that anyone really was asked me if I was reading it because they said I should be reading it was what King's Batman maybe.
That was a decade ago. We're going to 6 years ago.
but think about it. I mean, that was the last thing of the big two that anyone ever was like, hey, have you read? Well, I take it back.
You need to read Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil though.
But yeah, probably. I mean that because it's just
or Darsky.
I could go on
Darsky.
I could go on a rant about comic books and how like I don't understand how that industry is fine and it says there's nothing going wrong when I have watched with my own eyes over the last 20 years while comic books have done this nosedive that young adult fiction starts going through the roof and manga starts going through the roof and these idiots are like, what we're doing is fine. Maybe it's not what you're doing is fine. Maybe you need to like change what you're doing.
The issue before is that nobody bought single issues, everybody buys the trades.
Right.
But now no one's buying the trades now. Nobody's buying the trades.
Right. It's just like what but it's just they're content farms now. I understand that, but not my thing.
I predict that when the entire X-Men now I was reading the chat. I predict that when the entire X-Men finally debut in the MCU, it'll be so much full of mutants that other characters will left to the side and fans will complain about having too much X-Men. Yes, that will definitely happen. That's always happened.
That always happens because you're gonna, and I guess should we talk about the fact that there seems to be a memo in Disney that we have to start doing the Morrison X-Men. That there seems to be
we didn't talk about do I even want to talk about that shit, man? That scares me. I know right now all we know is aesthetic, right? But that still scares me, man.
Especially since we just had a movie with Cassandra in it. It makes me think they're gonna use more of that stuff.
They're gonna lead in a new X-Men. And don't get me wrong, some good shit in that, but the irreparable harm that book calls for fucking X-Men, man.
And not only that, you're gonna have people who are not comic book fans who are not ready for that. Because like if you listen to people who are not necessarily comic book fans or even that are kind of loosely comic book fans, the thing with the X-Men animated series 97 that they're all excited about is the possibility of Onslaught. If you do this, you're not getting Onslaught. You're getting Zorn. You're getting Zorn.
And you do not want Zorn. No, it's not fine, Josh. That shit is not fine. That is the most convoluted. Yo, Google, guys, like seriously, if you're curious about what we're talking about, just Google Zorn. Google XORN X-Men, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" It's like they made it up as they went. When he took off that mask, Josh, I was fucking done. I was done, man. Oh,
that's your boy, though. Morrison's your boy.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it.
I was done before then. I was done before then.
I think that's the moment where I was like, "This guy's just fucking crazy. This guy is just crazy."
I was done before then.
To be fair to him, he peaks very high. Like
no,
I'll be honest. When it hits, oh my God, does it hit? But when it doesn't, it does not. It does not, man.
It was him writing Doctor Who shit as X-Men stories.
Yes.
I will always say that. Say that.
Because Zorn, the reveal of Zorn is 100% a Doctor Who ass reveal. Couldn't you see River Song doing something just like that?
Yes,
oh my God, bro. I never thought about that.
When I was reading it, that's what I was thinking. This is like some like this is cool in the sense that it's like high level sci-fi stuff. But this doesn't fit the X-Men. This fits like Doctor Who. And so this would have been before the Doctor Who revival. Right, this is before.
Yeah, this would have been like 60s, 70s, 80s Doctor Who.
Yeah. Like I'm thinking, like because you hadn't had the revival of Doctor Who yet when New X-Men came out, and so I was like, this is like Doctor Who shit. What the fuck are we doing here? And yeah, I was done before then. I was done. I think I was done when you had characters laying eggs. I think I was done at that point. My man Ed said, I watched the recent YouTube video where he said Morrison's X-Men run was his favorite run, and I couldn't click out of that video. There's a ton of people that love that run.
Yeah, we're in the minority, man. A lot of people love that run.
A lot of people love.
And I think in a vacuum, if you love that run, that's fine. It's just what the irreparable harm that book did to X-Men. We still feel it today. We still feel it today, man.
That last story with the Savolta with that last Morrison story though, that's awesome. That's
fantastic.
That's
an all-time great X-Men story.
Yes,
but
and it's
but think about it this way: that's not the last X-Men story,
right?
Somebody had to pick things up after that story,
right? And I think that because he kind of with that he kind of reset everything, but you still had all of this stuff that happened before, and you had he was really the first one that I think really neutered Scott too, in a lot of ways.
Explain.
I think he really went in heavy into Scott being a jerk, a jerk for the right reasons, but very much a jerk, especially with him and Emma. And that's the way, I felt like he really leaned into that, so that it made sense why they were together, right? Instead of them just being together, especially after Jean died for the umpteenth time. But yeah,
Jean dies like Goku, man.
Yeah, but I will say that I think her dying and then them pivoting to Faith was a good thing. That was creative.
You mean Hope?
I mean Hope.
Yeah.
Faith.
Who the hell's Faith?
Hope. I think that was because that led into other things that I think. But yeah, no, and Markeem will tell you. At the time, I was one of the only people. I was one of the only people saying I do not like this X-Men run, and people were like, "You're insane," and I was like, "No, I do not like this. I can see where this is going. This is going to be bad long term." And yeah,
which one you talking? The Morrison one?
The Morrison one. Just I could just tell, it was very much Morrison stories, and they were good, but it wasn't. I think people were ready for. I think when he got signed on, I think what they were thinking is, "Oh, we're getting the Justice League guy to write X-Men," and you didn't get the Justice League guy. You got the Invisibles guy writing X-Men. That's what you got. You got that Morrison. You got that Morrison. You got that Morrison. You didn't get the Justice League Morrison. You got the Invisibles Morrison, which is fine, but realize what you're getting. So,
got his Justice League, man.
It's great.
I talk so much shit about that dude, but I ain't gonna lie. I own the absolute version.
I think
that shit was $130.
You know where I think people finally started like at least admitting that maybe he wasn't as great as people thought he was that Superman run.
Oh yeah,
the New 52. I think people
the action comics one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because everybody hated that. Everybody, and I felt so vindicated. I'm like, this shit sucks. Yes, it does suck. Yes, you're right. This goddamn chick. He's always sucked, man. He's always sucked when it mattered the most, man. He's always sucked.
But he did All-Star Superman. That's what they'll tell you.
I love that story, but when he sucks, man. We gotta call that shit out, man. We gotta call that shit out. And I say all this to say his Green Lantern run is fucking amazing.
It's like you said,
weird,
when he peaks, he peaks, but when it's bad, it's bad. And that's when people compare him and Moore, I'm always like, well, when Moore's bad, it's
still fine. It's fine.
Still fine. It's
don't make me hate myself, man.
It's just that didn't hit, but
how many bad Alan Moore comics are there? Honestly, we probably count on one hand.
Maybe. I can't think of bad ones. There'd probably be what? Maybe if you want to say Vigilante, maybe.
Nah, I would call that bad.
And I wouldn't even say that.
I would call that bad. That has some great moments in it. I would call that bad.
Because you can't say that like the Miracle Man stuff is the early Miracle Man stuff is like the weakest.
Oh, you love that shit though, ain't it?
Yeah, but that's like the weakest. Like the early, like before he got.
Oh,
like,
well, you like after he left more though, right? Like he left. You like
I like the
game and stuff, right?
I like the game and stuff more. I mean, that second arc in Miracle Man that's some stuff. That's some stuff. That's like
I didn't. Props to Marvel because I didn't read that shit until they started re-releasing them.
That second arc where you get evil freaking Marvel Boy, and like how that all leads into like that's some stuff. I'm trying to think of like maybe because 1968, I wouldn't call 1968 bad.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't call any of his ABC stuff bad.
Hold on now. Hold on. We might have one. All right. So obviously, when that shit starts, it's amazing.
Incredible. Oh, the last the last Gentleman book, that one.
I don't think I ever read it.
That one's like him going really, really.
He messed up, gentlemen. No.
Like no,
because
they like time travel. They like time travel. It's written in a weird way. It's like yeah.
By the way, we're talking about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. By the way,
Spawn. No, his Spawn stuff was good. His Spawn stuff was good. Because his is the actual story from hell. That's actually pretty good. But which ABC story were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the second to last one.
Which one was that? Is that the?
That is the. Hold on, I'm trying to remember because that was around the time where I was getting the volumes, and I just remember. I remember liking the end and not liking the story before. Hold on, I'm about to cheat real quick because I don't remember.
Because I'm trying to see. I'm trying to think.
I'm looking at all the. Yeah, that's right. We're doing this live on the air, yeah. ABC. All right, let me check the volumes.
That is surprisingly a good show, Sean. I was shocked. My daughter made me watch it.
All right, so obviously League, Promethea, top 10. Yeah, this shit here. Hold up. The fucking the Tomorrow Story stuff.
Oh yeah. Some of that.
Didn't
some
like
of that
none
stuff.
of that shit.
I liked some of it. Man. I liked some of it. The Tom Strong stuff that was in that was okay, but
well, I mean, obviously, but
you know,
yeah, I ain't really like none of that shit, man.
But like, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like Promethea, which is fine.
They just don't like reading that much. That's all.
I guess.
Just don't like reading that much.
Like that's a weird. Like Promethea is a weird book. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's not a weird book because it's definitely him in a fever dream. But I think it's still good.
It's good stuff. It's good.
Hell, my wife loves Lost Girls, so I can't even say that's bad.
I'm not surprised by that. But
what? No, it's
look who she married.
I know. I'm just saying that's it's. You could still tell that story without all of the porn stuff in that story. I'll just say that, and it would still be pretty good. So, but
without all the porn stuff,
without all the porn in it,
you could watch boxing without the punches.
No, but I mean, there's a story there that doesn't relate. It's not just about just like the. And I mean, I say porn, and people will be like, "Oh, but it's an erotic story." No, Alan Moore called it porn.
No, that shit's porn. That's just
no.
porn.
Alan Moore himself said, "Nah, this ain't erotic. This is porn. This is me doing porn." So,
I wish it wasn't so crazy now, man.
I mean, well, apparently he's of the whole group. Apparently, he's the best of the group somehow. I still don't understand how that happened. I don't get it.
The most sane one of like his era.
Yes, he's the only one that's not going to get canceled. I don't understand how that's.
Frank Miller's the worst, right? Like he's got to be the worst, right? That dude's nuts.
I mean, he's nuts, but he's always been nuts. So that's not surprising.
Yeah, but he's getting crazier the older.
Yeah, but I mean, he's probably 70 now, so he's in that. And I think he doesn't give a shit anymore either.
Did you hear what he said about Disney bringing back Daredevil?
No.
He was like these actors don't deserve this role, these roles, these writers don't deserve to do this because the more you do Daredevil, the more you devalue Daredevil. Like, brother, let these people make money. He's like Jim Cornette. It's like Jim.
It's like, dude, and you know he's getting a check too. That's
exactly like you know they're cutting him a check, man. Why are you so bitter? Like when people, I remember when Daredevil was airing and people really liked it. It was like, man, it's just like your run, and he had to say something. He's like, no, it isn't.
I swear, him and Moore are more alike than they would probably ever like to admit. I'm sure that both of them would probably try to kill you if you said that. If you said that to their face.
So you think the beef was real? The lotted beef think it was real?
I think they are. I think they are very much Batman and Superman in Miller's mind. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
I think they're two very different dudes from two that think very differently about the world, and they're just not going to be two guys that are ever going to get along. Ever.
Somebody said Neil Gaiman. Yeah, I mean, look, man. I love Neil Gaiman, man, but
he fucked up. Apparently, he fucked up. So that's my dude. And
hey, nobody loves Neil Gaiman more than this guy. Nobody.
And that dude, dumbass. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, we've been on here talking for like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think we're done. I think we've hit everything. But yeah.
I don't know when or if we'll do this again. We'll do it again, but I just don't know when.
Yeah, because I don't know when the next big, maybe if something happens like major happens at GameCon, we can come on here. And I don't think anything.
We left some shit on the table. We ain't talked about Star Wars at all.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Star Wars. We didn't talk about. There's only two dudes that should ever do anything Star Wars ever again, ever. Because they're the only ones that seem to be able to.
You say two? I say one.
Well, but they work well together. So
I guess so. But yeah, if I don't see Dave Filoni's name, I don't care. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't care at all. If I don't see that name, I'm not watching. I don't care.
Like even Andor will not like. Andor is the exception to the rule.
I don't know why they're making a season 2. Like I like the first season. Just leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Oh, since you brought it up, I have a question for you.
So,
in this movie that we're getting, this
Mandalorian
movie, you think Omega will be in it? You think that's when they finally?
It's a good spot, right? It's a good.
I mean, do you think that's where they finally bring her in?
Live action Omega, though.
I mean, she'll be old, so
yeah. I mean, it's a good time to do it. The Bad Batch being fresh in people's mind. How do you feel about the end of the Bad Batch, man? Real quick.
I think they handled it. Let me put this. I'll be politically correct about it. They handled it the best that they could because you knew it was going to have to. There was only like a couple of ways it could go, and none of them were going to be great.
True.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
God damn, I'm tired of this shit. True.
Either they were all going to have to die except for Omega, or all of them were going to have to die, or you were going to have to do something really stupid, and they're all just like get the happy ending.
Disappeared or something.
Yeah, which I or go out to the outer rings or something. So, yeah.
I love Palpatine in that show.
I mean,
yes, I do need a new chair, Sean, but I'm broke. But yeah, Palpatine is so great in that show.
You know where I got this chair? I got this
Where's
chair at the was it the reuse? You guys have those there? Where they help fund the Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, I could go out there and see what they got.
Yeah, because they got like, I think it's reuse. I think is the name of. Supposedly they're everywhere. That's where I got this chair. So
got a gaming chair, but I don't want to bring it all the way in here. But yeah, that's why I do all my. But yeah, Palpatine is awesome in that show. Awesome, and I love that they got the guy. I can't remember his name to voice him. I love that all those now that the animated shows have Disney money, they just get the actors.
They just get the actors, and it's like
go and get the actors. All right, real quick before we get out of here, last thing I promise. Did you see Acolyte?
I watched the first episode, realized what it was going to be. I was like,
and
then I stopped because to me, and I'm not even one of these fans, but if you're going to do that show, you can't pretend that Old Republic doesn't exist. I know it.
Oh, yeah. God, man, let it go.
No,
look, man,
I'm not.
Look, man, they said that stuff is
and
not
they're dumbasses
anymore.
And they're dumbasses.
Let it go. Now, I didn't love
dumbasses.
Acolyte either, but you gotta let that go, Josh. You're
They're
not
dumbasses.
getting that stuff back. It's gone. It's gone.
But I understand, but you can still what they needed to do was take the best of the stuff that was before, and they're not even doing that. They're just like, we're gonna do our own thing.
And man, if you can find the fights in that show though, all fantastic.
I've seen like online all the like you can definitely tell, but not. Oh, speaking of Daredevil, I'm wondering if you thought this too. Every time he would say he was Marvel Jesus, right? I kept going, you know what? He should keep playing that bit, and then they should have like they should have like Franklin Richards show up for like a second and go, "You're not Marvel Jesus. I'm Marvel Jesus," and then be like, "Who are you?" And then go,
because he is, man. He is. He's a miracle that makes miracles. Yeah,
there you go.
100%.
Anyways, all right. I think we're done.
Yeah, peace, y'all.
I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play some Street Fighter. So I'll let y'all.